Hey, what's up? Are you ready to level up on your people skills? The kind of skills that'll bring you a different outlook?
The kind of skills that help people feel understood. The kind of skills that help you know what to say and how to say it.
The kind of skills that'll bring you a different result. And by the way, if we meet for the first time, I'm Donald Francis.
And I'm Mark Beal.
This is It's Like Podcast right here on YouTube. We're helping people develop self-control
To make better decisions.
I wanted to talk about this thing we call filtering. You feel what I'm saying? Again, we posed the question last week. Am I a real friend? Are you a real friend because you filter, what you've told them when they asked about what other people said about them. Now, I want y'all to understand something. I want y'all to know that on last week, we utilized the word or name best friend as a illustration, but the key word is filter. That's the key word. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
And I know that Ra is ready tonight. I feel his energy. He's ready tonight to bring some, I don't know what he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? We never know where he's going to come from. That's Ra for y'all. You feel what I'm saying? And clarity and understanding. Listen, I want you to understand something that our material is coming from a book called Nuts and Bolts. And the author his name is Neil Searborn, and he's a very, very good guy who helped develop people. And I'm going to tell you something. The perspective that we come from is to help everybody not only develop character, not only develop self-control to make better decisions, but we are also here to help that. Let's say, for example, if you wanted to start your own business, you want to write your book, no matter what you're in, you're going to be in the people's business.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially if you want to be in business.
Especially if you want to be in business. So when I say in the people business, I don't mean the way we were brought up, meaning being in people business. No, but you're going to be in the people business. That means you have to deal with people, and you're going to need people. I don't care if nobody say, bro, you're going to need people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whatever. If you're going to sell t-shirts, if you're going to open up your business, if you're into real estate, if you're into barbershop, which I just came from, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to make sure got myself together for the night. And say, thank, bro. I'm saying? Shout out to my barber, by the way. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out
Danny,
to barber.
Danny always do stuff. So no matter what you're into, if you fix refrigerators, if you are a plumber, no matter what you're into, you're going to have to fix somebody's refrigerator. You're going to have to fix somebody's pipeline on being a plumber, whatever the case be. You're an electrician. You're going to have to fix somebody's laptop or computer. You feel me? Either way, you're going to have to learn how to get along with people. But tonight, we're not focusing in on the colors and the different classes of people, but we're focusing in on filtering, and I want you to know, people, that tonight we're going to help. And I'm grateful, bro, for the last week, because last week and having people who called in help give us more clarity. And by the way, I wanted to, do the templates and put what people have said, up on the comments. And I'm going to tell you something. We want to acknowledge your comments. You know what I'm saying? I want you to also know that we go back and we read your comments.
Definitely.
So that we can come back and acknowledge your comments,
Right.
Now, I don't want for anybody to feel like we're putting you on blast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say your name and who said what, unless you've given us permission, but let's set the table tonight. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep the time because time is now 8:50. You feel what I'm saying? And we want to sometimes keep it limited until at least 9:15 so that, kind of take phone calls. But
Gotcha.
You know what? I think tonight we need to go a little longer in our dialogue, because I want to set the table for everything that we're going to do, not only on Facebook, but also on YouTube. You feel what I'm saying?
Let's do it.
So tonight, I want you to know, let me go back and I want to talk to you about the story that we said to open it up, and we talked about Jim, and we talked about Bill,
right?
And we talked about Tom,
Right.
The question that we posed, you can see, on your description is, are you a good friend if you decided to filter, what you wanted to tell your best friend, you feel what I'm saying, as an illustration, just to save his or her feelings, or, to save them from being up all night because they might be bothered. Now, Ra had already covered on last week that if your best friend is your best friend should know who you are, and filtering comes into play based upon, and it's what he said, who you're talking to.
Who you're talking to, and also who's presenting.
And also who's presented. Wow. You see? Yeah.
The filtering has so many levels. Let's remind the folk what filtering actually is.
Okay, go for it.
The example that we gave was you being on a porch. Consider an old school home.
Yeah.
It has the porch with the screens, and the screen is there to allow you to enjoy the fresh air, but keep out all the potential bugs and or things that are flying in the air.
Right.
For me, your filter is simply considering what you're going to say or do before you do it.
Wow.
Filter it through your own process.
Wow.
Determine how you would feel if you were about to receive the information that you're providing. Or, we had a discussion in one of our meetings this week, right?
Okay, right.
And there's a misconception about the saying of treating people how you want to be treated.
How you want to be treated.
But it's really, you should treat people how they like to be treated.
Absolutely.
Some big misconception about that.
I'm gonna tell you something, Rob. You make a great point. I'm gonna tell you the reason why, because as we begin to take a look at that book, and as you would so eloquently, said it to to our viewers about, let's take a look at what filtering actually is, and how we made the illustration just now. I don't need to say it about how filtering is like a screen, that covers a porch, and the screen is something that's considered to be something that will protect somebody, protect you from bugs, protect you from sunlight,
too much sunlight.
You know what I'm saying? Because too much sunlight, we like vitamin D, you know what I'm saying? Because we need that. But too much of anything is just not good. You feel what I'm saying? And so when we take a look at the sunlight and stuff like that, the screen is something that'll help us to enjoy, the life of being on a porch. For those of them who want to think old school, you know what I'm saying? The life of being on a porch, and to be able to just sit, maybe some lemonade. So you might drink wine. I don't know what it is, whatever the case it be. But then now we're enjoying the chirping of the birds. We're enjoying the cool of the day. We're enjoying the waters to flow.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? And in the midst of enjoying all of that, you will be appreciative of the kind of screen, that would keep you from all of those things. And in our book, like Rob was talking about, that it keeps us from, and filtering is the same concept as to where, we ought to keep things away from people unnecessarily, So filtering is sort of like the same way when you, withholding the things that would torment you. You feel what I'm saying? Words that would torment you, things that would keep you up at night and stuff like that. So since he told,
or rather, not necessarily, or not only keep from or keep away, but choosing.
Oh, see, wow,
choosing
exactly
a better way.
Choosing
a different
finding
another way to present it, not necessarily present it the way you initially feel it.
See what I'm saying? So
that's actually the dialogue I like to get into in regards to filtering.
We're going to get to that.
That space where people start out and say, this is what I do.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Ron G, good to see you, my guy. That's my brother. He's online. Good to see you. And so let me tell a story real quick so that we can get into that. Because again, a lot of times people don't really understand. Like, we were talking about a guy named Jim on last week, and he had a friend named Bill and Tom. Both of them are like the closest buddies to him, but Jim and Bill are closer than Jim and Tom. And Tom, let me give you more clarity from even last week. Tom is someone who seems to always be the know-it-all. You know what I'm saying? So he always have to find himself saying something. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, he have to put his opinion on it. You're talking about the stuff that you want to do. He always want to deflect the conversation back onto him, so that the spotlight would be on him, because perhaps maybe of insecurity. However, Tom is always somebody that have to say something about something just to be heard, rather bring value, you know. So I wanted to set that table for you to know that he always have an opinion, you know. So now Jim, obviously someone who is being elevated, you know what I'm saying, being promoted, if you will, at his job. He invite everybody to his dinner party, you know, and he's sitting at the table, you know what I'm saying, wifey's, you know, help serving and stuff like that. But he has his buddies right with him. Tom is sitting here. You got Bill that's sitting there. Jim is just so proud. And at the end of, you know, his dinner, you know, he get up to make his speech about accepting, you know what I'm saying, his position, but he also want to, you know, leave value with people. And he get up and he quotes something that's from Shakespeare, but he claimed it was from the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So he gets up and he says what he says. And he says, man, my clothes, you know, in the good book, it says whatever it is. You feel what I'm saying? But meanwhile, whatever he said was actually from Shakespeare. So now in front of everybody, Tom decided to get up and say, hey, you know, Jim, that was good. I'm glad about what you said. And that was a wonderful speech. But let me just correct you. What you said was not from the Bible, it was from Shakespeare. So now Jim is like, my dude, let me tell you something. I know the Bible up and down, in and out. You can't sit there and tell me. Matter of fact, you've been reading the Bible for 2 days now. You want to try to correct me? That was from the Bible and not from Shakespeare. So now Tom, for some reason, want to pull Bill in. So, yo, Bill, let him know right here in front of everybody he was wrong.
I was just about to ask you,
know what
was Bill doing?
So Bill's like, so Bill look at Tom. He says, Tom, I'm sorry to say, but bro, you wrong. Jim is right. You wrong. So now Tom is dumbfounded. He's
but
like,
hold on. Tom was right.
But Tom was right.
Tom was right.
Tom was
Bill
right.
turned around and said, Bill
turned around and said, no, Tom,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. So now after everything clear out, after everybody clear out,
that's deep.
It's only them three that's left.
And that's a friend. But
and
that's deep.
You feel me? So now watch this. And I want to bring this in also about what somebody said after we talk about this.
For sure.
Because they commented on the actual story. And the purpose of the story was for all of you to give us some comments and say something, even if it's controversial. And say something. Just don't be cursing at us. All right. So he says, so after everybody leave, it's just now Jim, it's Bill, and it's Tom. Jim don't say anything else about what took place at the table because he said what he said. He made his peace. But he tell Tom and he tell Bill, he says, listen, look, y'all, I want to thank y'all as my buddies for coming by. I got to go help with the dishes and get this house together because y'all ate enough, you know? So now Tom and Bill is left alone.
Okay.
Tom is like, yo, Bill, you knew I was right at the table. Why would you not correct him? And here's the key. Bill said to Tom, who always got something to say, who's a know-it-all, you know what, Tom? Sometimes you just need to shut up and mind your business because you talk too much. He says, first of all, I want you to know something. We sitting at this brother's table and we're sitting in front of his guests. And here's the most important part, in his honor.
Embarrass this man.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why I'm telling you, you don't go to get up there and embarrass this man in front of his guests. And see, I'm going to tell you something, y'all. And today, I feel that there are people who miss that.
All the time. That's right in the space that I want to talk about, too. All the time.
Who miss just that. You could be right? You could say the right thing, say it at the wrong time, and be wrong.
And that goes back to my question from last week.
You know what I'm saying? Dwayne, good to see you. Dwayne Timothy, what's up, my guy? That's my brother. What's up, hey boy? You know what I'm saying? You can say, and so that's the reason why, it's so important. Listen, people, what we want you to also understand it. Look, it's all right. We know that sometimes you can say the right thing. You can be right in stuff that you say. But I think, for lack of better words, let me just regress for a minute before I say for lack of better words, and I'm going to let you get into it. One of our viewers on last week has said, he said, and matter of fact, let me see if I could find it real quick. And I think what I did was I saved it. So, and I want to read exactly what the person that said verbatim, so I won't take anything out of their mouth. Now, if I can just find it, that'd be good, right? If I could find it. And yeah, I was, what I'm saying, glad to pay my phone bill. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second, because I know where the picture is. But let me just say, let me paraphrase while I'm trying to find it, just in case I don't find it. So I did take the picture, I want you to know, what the individual was saying was, so are we not Are we to leave people, or the person in error? There we go. He says, so do we continue to let people be in error just because we was invited to their table by them? You see? So that was good. That? Yeah, that was good. That was good. He says, because
that was a great question. Absolutely.
I think that he made a good point.
I'm sure a lot of people had that same question. Do we leave
people in error, even though we were invited by them? You feel what I'm saying? See, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Oh, I can't correct them just because
it's their house.
They can't be corrected.
But they can't be corrected. You feel what I'm saying?
Everybody can be corrected.
Thank you, my dude. I would say who you are, but I don't know if you give me permission. But you raise a good point, my guy, and I love you for that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, somebody would ask this particular question. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say
a lot of people would.
Yeah, he made the statement.
That's a normal question.
Yep. And although he made a statement, he made it almost in the form of a question. So do we continue to let people be in error just because we were invited to the table by them? And I'm gonna tell you, and see, here's the deal. What you got to say to that, bro?
It's a few things that I'm thinking of. My mind is just, my mind just spins.
Got you. And so you could piggyback anytime. Let me just say this real quick. I don't think the issue here is to not correct him. But I think, for lack of better words, it's the timing you decided to correct him.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna tell you something, right?
Exactly,
Miss Virginia, good to see you.
Get into.
Miss Virginia, it's good to see you. And if you think we're giving you value, again, just please do me a favor, give us a thumbs up. Because again, see, people, it's not about you correcting a person. You can correct the person even if you're at their house, you see, but it's when
or
how and how, you see, and watch
definitely
this.
How.
And I'm gonna tell you, I don't even really care about the how. Watch this. If that's your best friend and you know them.
That's
because if they know that you shoot at the hip,
a private setting.
See what I'm saying? So, and what it should be is a private setting between them two during the time of correction, And again, some people might say, well, yeah, but see, I don't want my homie or my sister to go out there saying something and it makes them look bad. You feel me? No, it's not about that, because watch this. If the people aren't saying anything because they know that they're in his honor and they know that it's an innocent mistake, you could wait until it's over to say, Elizabeth, good to see you. What's going on, my sis? You could wait until everything is over to say, yo, bro, I want you to know that, you that wasn't from the Bible. That was from Shakespeare. And because I want to make sure that I do things in your honor, you know what I'm saying, that I'm mindful that I don't create a cloud over you and make you feel away because of who I said it in front. And rather you know it or not, sometimes we could be talking about a private situation, right? And if a third party come in here, the atmosphere becomes thick.
Yeah, it
becomes intense. And so now if you say it in front of that individual, you could be hurting people rather than help them.
Listen, a few things.
Terry, good to see you.
A few things crossed my mind. What's going on, Terry?
Yeah.
A few things crossed my mind.
Yeah. Talk to us.
Oh man, where do I start? You're either part of the solution or you're part of the problem. Let's start there.
Let's start there.
All right. Like you said, I was gonna make the same point.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place for everything, right?
Bars.
To the question specifically.
Yeah.
So do we continue to let people be in error just because we're invited to their table?
Yeah.
Okay, specifically to that question, it's not necessarily about letting people be in error. It's about that specific type of situation in which if we're out in someone's honor, it's okay to humble yourself to allow them to have their honor. And yes, you can correct them. Nobody's saying that you can't correct somebody who, whether you're in their home, has a home, whatever the circumstances are, but you don't have to be so blunt about it. You don't have to be everything that you are. And this taps into
go ahead.
What we were talking about throughout the week regarding this. People seeing things through their own lenses, how they deal with things.
Absolutely.
So Tim, was it Tim in the situation?
Jim.
No, not Jim. I'm sorry.
Tom.
Yeah. Tom and Bill.
Yeah.
Tom was right.
Yeah.
And Tom is probably one of those people who's usually right.
And
when they're right, they're like, I'm right. No, I'm right.
Right.
But a person like Tom, where the filtering comes in, has to determine, hey, is this the best time to correct this man in his home? He's proud. His family is here.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have some, that's where the compassion and consideration comes in, right?
Yeah.
But people don't always, you know, they just, I'm sure a person like Tom will say, well, I was just, and when you lead with
Right.
you're not thinking about
nobody else.
Nobody, but how you deal with things.
Exactly.
Which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it's not, again, this is not about a teachable moment. You
Right.
know, there are teachable moments,
Yeah.
but every moment is not a teachable moment.
Not every moment.
And if it is, it's not always at that moment that you do the teaching. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can all humble ourselves and just say, you know, this might not be the right time. It's a time and a place for everything.
Everything.
So,
and see, that's so good, man, because see, here's the deal. Let me ask you a question. Do you know anybody that's that fit that category in your life? You know, are you a good friend? Are they a good friend to you? Do you have people that, do you know exactly what a best friend actually is and what the qualifications of being a best friend is? And I'm gonna tell you something. Do you know anybody that's in the same situation, that they're always talking? They talk more than they listen. They talk more than they hear. And even if they are saying things that are right, do you know anybody? Can you give us a thumbs up if you know somebody who might not know timing too well, you know, to know how to deliver or to know when to deliver? Because again, I'm not even talking about how you say what you say. In this case, I'm talking about what you say, and I'm talking about the timing of what you say. That would bring more value to that. Because again, I've learned, you know, and being at, you know, Jim was somebody who's supposed to be quoting the Bible, although he spoke Shakespeare.
Right.
In the real Bible, you know, it talks about that if you're able to control your tongue, then you're able to control your whole body. Because the tongue is something that seems, if you can't control your tongue, you can't control you. You can't control your action.
Dangerous.
But when you learn how to discipline yourself, you know, and know what to say, when to say it, you got what I'm saying? Then you can control who you are.
Right.
When you learn how to control this.
That's right.
If we're giving you value, do me a favor, give us a thumbs up. And now this brings us now also into our next segment. Because again, you know what I'm saying, the question becomes, even though, you know what I'm saying, you see Jim who could have been filtered, but wasn't filtered by Tom. You feel what I'm saying? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that it is necessary for filtering? You know, let us know, everybody out there in the community. Do you think that it is necessary for you to filter? Because again, we talked about, and I'm gonna tell you something. The reason why I'm saying this also, let me just say this in between all of that. You know, we have to also learn how to categorize where filtering go. Because there are a lot of people who don't know how to. Do you know we've been out of sync for so long in what we do, to the point that we don't even know how to categorize certain things for things to be in perspective.
Say that.
For the best outcome, you know what I'm saying, for what's best for the cause to come into fruition. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because see, here's the deal. If anybody out there in our community can say, let me regress for a second. Let me go real. If I can, you know, let's go to the eras that we've grown up in, rather than the project life, you know, as to where one of our guys that have come on the screen on last week and said, listen, I'm the one who shoot from the hip and I don't care. And it's that and the other. And I'm sorry, that's just who I am. And that's who but I understood and by what source he was coming from.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, you know, maybe there's somebody that's out there who had somebody who is a best friend, you know, who have been slept on, you know, from a friend or from a spouse. And you know that it was with somebody else. They were sleeping around, you know, on your best friend's mate. You got what I'm saying? And so the person came to me and said, listen, if I know that that's my best friend and my best friend's mate is sleeping around with somebody else that we do know, then I'm just going to shoot from him. I'm going to tell him this and the other. Can I tell you something? If you found that there was somebody, and I don't even want to talk about this so much, but I use this as an illustration. If you know that, you know, saying your best friend had somebody that they thought loved them so much to the point that you found out that person that they thought loved them so much slept on or slept with somebody that you all know. Can I tell you something? That is not to be in the category of filtering. That's not a filtering moment.
That's a fact.
You got to understand something. What are you filtering? You can't filter what's the truth. Now, before I get to that, let me ask you this. Is filtering a lie? Because see, here's the deal.
I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna say two things before we crossed over.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight how Bill, the friend of both of them, filtered. He did some good filtering.
Yeah, he filtered.
Also, I was going to ask the same question, but in a different way.
Absolutely.
Based on what we spoke about filtering, is filtering can it be considered being phony?
Come on. Eddie Saunders, good to see you, my guy.
I know a lot of people will be like, well, that's just being phony. You ain't saying the truth, then you're being phony.
Well, see, let's take a look at filtering
again. You're being fake. I don't want you around.
Right. Because see, at the same time, because if you fake, let's ask this question.
There's a difference, but
is being
it can be
fake,
misconstrued.
Is being fake holding things back? Can we define being fake
on who you're dealing
as holding things back?
Sensitive. That's
all right.
So
listen, y'all. Let's get to this real quick, because here's the deal. Let me give you an illustration, right? So let's take a look at filtering. We talked about how filtering is a kind of way that we have a screen across the porch that will keep you from insects that would bite you. Got you? And it keeps you from harsh sun that could possibly burn you. Okay, right? So at the end of the day, if filtering is the equivalent of screening, and we screen our conversation based upon what we talk about to people, or we share with people, is that being phony? Right? So here's the deal. Because let's go back to, is it a lie? Because here's the deal. A lie is something you say to somebody that they did this when they did not do anything.
Correct.
Or you're telling them that they didn't do something and when they did do it.
Right.
So a lie is a straight contradiction to what somebody have done and or not.
Some people say a lie is a withholding of the truth.
Right.
And they'll hold you accountable to that.
Right. Absolutely. But that's not a lie. Because a lie is something. Right. You know what I'm saying? A lie. Now that's a lie that they gave to themselves.
That's a lie within relationships. Right. A lot of relationships go down.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you're withholding something.
You didn't tell me.
You can't.
I never asked you, but you didn't tell me.
And you can't lie over something you did not say.
This is very true.
So you're not lying if you withhold. I know, right? Explain that in a relationship.
In a relationship setting.
Right? Now that's in a relationship setting. You feel what I'm saying?
Like I said, it depends on who you talk.
Well, when it comes down to a relationship, depending upon the level of your relationship, you know what I'm saying? If you're almost married or you've been together for a specific amount of years, right? You know what I'm saying? And she knew who you were from the beginning, right? And you kept it 100 from the beginning, and now you're not keeping it 100 too much. You know what I'm saying? Then that might be problematic there. Listen, it's your boy Donald Francis and
Bill.
Listen, it's Life Podcast, where we're helping people develop self-control
to make better decisions.
Listen, next week, y'all, I want y'all to be here or be square. Can I still say that?
Nah.
Listen, y'all, we over and out, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Peace.